Greetings, all praise to Emperor Haile Selassie, the one, King of all kings. You hear these words, conspiracy theory and truther, being toted around. Is there a difference? In some sense, you know, conspiracy theorists engage in theories which are known to be hypothetical. Truthers are concerned with discovering the truth, not necessarily engaging in any theories, just interested in knowing reality. I think the word truther is a stronger term. It's not as demeaning. You know, for example, some words, because of the way that the media has picked them up and used them, really abused them, like the word cult, for example, have become very demeaning. However, if you look into the dictionary and you find out what's wrong with that, is there something wrong with having a theory that evolution is done by design, that it is a result of a few individuals that use the instrument of capital to dominate the socio-economic landscape? Engages in meetings to further the interest of their own selves. I don't believe that there's anything wrong with that. I think that's completely healthy. And if you don't think that that's what's happening, I don't believe you're paying attention. The ruling oppressive classes exist to increase the wealth of themselves. Sometimes you have to think about it like this. They worship no living God. It is proclaimed in the scripture that the Sadducees, known to be the elite, did not have those beliefs in a creator. They were practical in their approach, and of course they sought to keep what they had gained, and by introducing a particular faith that not only prohibits but shuns the gain at the expense of others. It would be dangerous and contrary to their well-being. So, you have a group of individuals on the earth that don't necessarily believe that humanity is important. They are futurists. They believe that they will eventually be immortal. And so what is more dangerous? Somebody that proclaims to have been moved by a spirit, a righteous being, or people that claim to have enough answers to justify a genocide in favor of their own pleasure. When you look up the word conspiracy, it says usually around illegal acts, so that people are engaging in conversation to plot, illegal. But it doesn't say all the time, just usually. I think that what people fail to take into consideration is that certain individuals know how the system works, and they know how to be effective oppressors. And so there's no need to discuss these steps with each other. They already know another person's position, and they know what that person is thinking because they understand what that person's motives are to become more richer, because they live just like the other one. They have the same goals, to enrich themselves. And so there's no need to discuss anything that is already known. And so it's possible that steps can be taken. For example, price inflation. If you have a group of companies that are in the same industry and they decide to fix the price of their products or services because they're the only game in town collectively, they don't necessarily have to make that, a contract. They just edge their prices up, and as they watch each other, move in that direction, they can know that, this is for us all. You see it, happening. You see it happen in the oil industry, how the gas prices fluctuate so much. I understand that the price of crude oil can go up and down, but that's the whole point. I mean, why is the price going up and down other than people are making decisions to manipulate that commodity? If the law of man is written so that it is permissible, then what kind of a conspiracy could it possibly be, The man-made law said it was acceptable, so it must be, that's the general consensus. So often, if people question corruption, they're labeled as conspiracy theorists. And if people on the outside, looking at the process, come to determination that something is not right. Whether they call it themselves or not, those are truthers. They say something's not right, and there's got to be a reason for it. Whether it be with 9/11, any of the wars, war in Iraq, Syria, Vietnam, World War I, World War II, the setting up of the Federal Reserve, all these things, I think it would be healthy for the public to be interested in knowing, especially since we are told through our formal system of education very little about, and we are given only one side of the story through the mainstream media. When I think of a situation like 9/11, I think, what was the outcome? What is the score at the end of the game? As a result of 9/11, what happened? Patriot Act, mass surveillance, all the security setting up. And because I understand business, I have 2 degrees and have had my own businesses. I know that businessmen are interested in making money. They are, that's what they exist for. What is the phrase? I'm interested in making money. That's what they say. And so, if we look at the outcome of a situation like 9/11, we can clearly see that certain decisions were made after that through the government that enabled these actors to conduct their affairs without oversight or much scrutiny. And we can come to the further determination that as a result of implementing these so-called laws and new technologies, we as a population have not actually become safer. According to the media, we are in grave danger, and it fluctuates. But I think this is more another premise to implement further components of the design. I think it goes towards one place. We're all going to be forced, if we choose to live in the world, to serve and worship the beast. If we choose not to live in the world, then we will be punished by man and rewarded by our Maker, Jah, Rastafari.